What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode with Headbangers Sports. My name is Bobby O'Neill, and in today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you the secret to dominating in your next outing. And for this topic, we're going to be talking about the three main differences between throwing a strike and executing a pitch. By definition, the term strike is actually a relative term, meaning my opinion of a strike might not be the exact same opinion as the umpire. So you kind of have to be careful when you're determining what a strike actually is. But in my opinion, what a strike should be is anywhere where the ball is crossing over the plate at either knee height or hip height. And also, in my opinion, if you have proven that you can command both the outer and inner half of the plate, an umpire should give you a little bit more on the black. Regardless of the definition though, the term strike is really a general term, meaning it can be anywhere in that strike zone in order to be called a strike. Now, this is the difference. The term execution is defined by a pitcher's ability to put the ball exactly where he wants. So it is a pitch that is thrown in a much more specific location, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a strike. Therefore, an executed pitch could be a strike, but also could be a ball. The first way I like to talk about is what I refer to as time and a place. In pitching, there is an obvious time and a place to throw strikes and to throw balls. And the longer you've been around the game and the more mistakes you've made, the faster you're going to be able to determine which scenario you're actually in. For example, runner on second and third in the fifth inning with a tied ball game and a 2-0 count, you probably don't want to leave a fastball right down the middle for the sake of throwing a strike. So many athletes are so concerned about not walking a guy that they're willing to leave a cookie right down the middle and give up a 3-run jack to the best hitter on the team, rather than pitching around a guy, potentially putting a runner on and setting up that double play ball with less than 2 outs. On the contrary, if you're getting into a situation where you have a guy 0-2 and then he battles his way back to a 3-2 count because he's an extremely disciplined hitter, he's probably earned himself that strike rather than trying to throw a 3-2 chase pitch that could result in a walk. The second difference is what we all know as tunneling. If we're a right-handed pitcher who has a lot of ride on his fastball and we're facing a right-handed batter and we're wanting to change his eye levels by bringing the ball up in the zone, we're probably going to want to throw that fastball somewhere at the letter's height and let it ride up near the shoulders. Now, this pitch isn't necessarily going to get called for a strike, but it's a well-executed pitch at the top half of the zone, and it sets up the next pitch with that curveball where we're able to start that curveball at the same height and let it fall off the table and end up in the zone for a strike. Now, where a lot of athletes mess this one up is they'll be thinking about their curveball in the wrong way. They'll be thinking, I'm going to throw this curveball as hard as I can and I'm going to break it off and have it hit the catcher right in the knee, which is fine if you're mindful of that fastball up in the zone being the next pitch that you should throw. However, if you're thinking, okay, now that my catcher's glove has ended right at the kneecap, so I want to throw my next fastball right at that same spot, that's fine too, unless you are never throwing at that top half of the zone, because what the batter's going to do is they're going to start realizing that anytime a curveball is going up, they're going to see that pitch up and know it's a breaking ball and not chase it. So what we have to do as a pitcher is we have to be able to execute that fastball that's technically not a strike at the top half of the zone to make a batter think that a fastball is going up there in order to fool them with that curveball down in the zone. And the last difference that I like to talk about is what I refer to as the recovery shot. If you're ever watching a round of golf and you're watching someone who's really elite, you'll see them make a terrible shot just like I do. However, the shot that's coming out of the fairway bunker after that first miss is always 10 times out of 10 the best recovery shot you've ever seen in your life that ends up sticking the green. That's the recovery shot. If you're a pitcher like me, you'll have this tendency to miss up an arm side occasionally with a fastball that's intended to be spotted on the black. Now, even though that pitch was not an executed pitch, it's super important to understand that if you have a curveball or a slider that is able to start in that exact same pitch tunnel that you previously missed in, and you're able to bring it back over the plate, now you turned one bad pitch into two great pitches that makes that batter look foolish, and it also gets you back in the game. Where I see a lot of athletes fail at this is they'll throw that up and arm side fastball and get frustrated, and then they want to go right back to that fastball down and away to try to show to themselves and to everyone else that they can command that pitch. Now that may boost our ego, but that's not necessarily an effective tunnel and an effective use of the total number of pitches that you have per game. So rather than trying to have an ego challenge with that batter, how about we start trying to utilize our misses to try to capitalize on every possible scenario in order to work smarter instead of harder. In summary, we need to have a clear indication of what the actual situation is, and we need to understand the time and the place of every situation that we are put in. Second, we need to have a clear understanding of what our our stuff and makeup actually is, and we need to have a clear definition of our pitch design. And once we learn how to do that, we can start figuring out which tunnels are most appropriate for our specific needs. And finally, we need to start figuring out how to capitalize on our misses, because ultimately we are all bound by the same law of physics, and that our body breaks down over time, and we need to capitalize on every pitch that we possibly can. Hope that was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Also, feel free to follow me at BobbyO'Neill37 on all social media platforms, and make sure to follow this page here at Headbanger Sports. Take care, guys. God bless.